Tonight, new wildfires burning out of control out west and deadly flooding in the south. The Gifford fire getting bigger faster with evacuation orders in place tonight. Fires burning in several other western states. And now wildfire smoke from Canada blanketing the Midwest is heading east. Down south, heavy rains triggering deadly flash floods. The surprising warning late today from police as the search expands for a mass shooting suspect in Montana that he could turn up there again.
Of course, people are on edge.
The reward now out for his capture. Breaking tonight, dozens of Texas Democrats leaving the state to try to stop Republicans from changing the congressional map and potentially the balance of power in Washington. New tonight, NBC News learning new details about a critical trip to Russia by a top administration official as the White House's deadline to end the war in Ukraine barrels closer. Bracing for impact from the president's trade war, the new tariff set to take effect this week. Small businesses struggling to stay afloat, and what you need to know about the prices you could pay. Pope Leo celebrating Mass before then 1 million young Catholics. Look at that crowd. We are live from Rome. The health alert for parents. Cases of whooping cough on the rise as kids get ready to head back to school. What you can do to stay safe. Look at this here, a huge 15-foot great white shark swimming just feet away from a popular beach spot. An NBC News exclusive. We go inside the Army's drone testing on the front lines. And there's good news tonight about the bond of a lifetime that turned these co-workers into sisters.
This is NBC Nightly News with Hallie Jackson.
Good evening. We are coming on the air with deadly flash flooding and out-of-control wildfires affecting millions of Americans tonight, starting down south in Alabama, where you can see the impact here of dangerous downpours, rising waters covering roads, one person killed when their car was swept away. Out west, a new wildfire is spreading fast tonight, putting ranchers at risk. You can see how big the flames are here. And for other parts of the country, the fires in Canada mean thick smoke suffocating some cities. Look how hazy it is. That's Chicago. And tonight, millions are bracing for more rain and the threat of possibly more flooding in the south. Our Maggie Vespa starts us off.
Tonight, heavy downpours in the south turning deadly in at least one state. Officials in Alabama say one person died after the car they were in washed off a roadway. Some areas across that state, as well as Georgia and Florida, bracing for up to half a foot of rain or more. The Gifford fire in Central California now at roughly 40,000 acres and only 5% contained. 3 people have reportedly been injured, ranchers scrambling to save their cattle, but fast-moving flames overtook some.
It smoked us completely, as you can see. It's brutal.
Evacuation orders issued and states of emergency declared from California to Utah to Arizona, but it's Canada's wildfires that are blanketing the eastern half of the U.S. with smoke. On social media, videos showing hazy skies.
So all of these areas that used to be, safe are no longer safe.
Minnesota's air quality alert lasting a week, its longest in history. In Chicago, Cubs fans and Lollapalooza attendees are braving the outdoors days after the city clocked the worst air quality in the world, with experts calling it officially dangerous.
Why? Why do we continuously have to deal with this?
This week has just been hazy, a lot of haze.
This summer of severe weather sparing no corner of the country. New Jersey and New York even rattled by a magnitude 3.0 earthquake Saturday.
Maggie Vespa is joining us now from a hazy Chicago. Maggie, sounds like there's at least a little bit of hope on the horizon, so to speak, for people dealing with all that wildfire smoke.
Yeah, Hallie, it definitely is. Basically, in much of the upper Midwest where we are and Northeast, this smoke should clear out midweek. And more specifically, in at least 10 states, those air quality alerts, those should start to expire after tomorrow. Hallie.
Maggie, thank you. A new warning tonight from officials that the murder suspect they're scrambling to find could return to the Montana town where he shot and killed 4 people. Kathy Park has the latest.
Tonight, the urgent manhunt underway for 45-year-old Michael Brown, accused of killing 4 people in a Montana bar Friday. This map showing part of Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest, closed until further notice, where law enforcement is searching for the suspected killer.
We've got a lot of expertise, a lot of knowledge of the area. We've got every cabin, every hunting site that's known up there pinned.
Today, officials offering a $7,500 reward for any information that could lead to Brown's whereabouts. Officials released this photo Saturday showing Brown nearly naked, saying they now believe he went to another location shortly after the shooting, ditched his clothes, then stole a truck.
At this point, we have every reason to believe the suspect is fully clothed, shoes on his feet, able to get around. We do know the individual had access to firearms. We believe he was probably still armed and dangerous.
You mentioned there is a potential that he could come back to the community.
Well, it's certainly something we have to be worried about, right? I mean, this is an individual who chose at 10:40 in the morning on a weekday to walk into an establishment where he was known, where he likely knew everyone in there, and he opened fire and killed everyone.
Those victims include Daniel Bailey, David Leach, Tony Palm, and Nancy Kelly, a retired nurse who was working at the bar part-time.
She was definitely a people person. She, because it is a small town, she was an oncology nurse. She treated a lot of people.
Brown is no stranger to the small community of Anaconda, an Army veteran known to law enforcement and, according to acquaintances, flagged for mental health concerns. Tonight, officials urging residents to remain on high alert. Kathy Park, NBC News.
Just in tonight, a dramatic step by Democratic state lawmakers in Texas, leaving the state and heading to Illinois. It's part of the fight against a Republican push to create 5 more GOP House seats in Congress and potentially cement Republican control in Washington. Ryan Chandler is at the state capitol in Austin for us tonight. Ryan, good evening.
Good evening, Hallie. With weeks still left in this special session here in Austin, this was the nuclear option for Democrats. I've been speaking with them all week, and they told me this was on the table, but they described it as the break the glass moment when they knew they had no other options to stop these maps. They don't have the votes here in Austin, but now they do have a trip to Chicago. Well, they'll be meeting with Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. The question here in Austin now, Hallie, how do Republicans get the Capitol back on track? This redistricting bill, which has ignited controversy nationwide, is set for floor debate at the Capitol tomorrow. Doesn't appear that's going to happen without a quorum. What do they do about that? I asked the House Speaker about that when we were together in Kerrville just 3 days ago. He told me that he was not planning on a quorum break, that he thought they had enough members to do bipartisan work and keep getting things done. Does not appear that's going to happen now. There are already Republicans raising the possibility of arresting Democratic lawmakers. That's why they had to flee the state, to escape the jurisdiction of state troopers who have the authority, if the House chooses to grant them it, to bring Democrats back and lock them in the House chambers so that they can continue work. Lots of drama still to come here, Hallie.
Plenty to watch there in Austin. Ryan Chandler, thank you. Also tonight, multiple sources are sharing with NBC News new details about a critical trip to Russia by one of the president's top advisors, with the clock ticking toward the administration's self-imposed deadline, only days away, for Russia and Ukraine to reach a peace deal. Vaughn Hilliard reports.
Tonight, President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff set to travel to Russia ahead of the president's Friday deadline for the Kremlin to halt its war against Ukraine. 6 months into office, Trump suggesting his patience with President Vladimir Putin has waned.
We had numerous good conversations where we could have ended this thing. Yeah. And all of a sudden, bombs start flying.
A source familiar with the administration's plans tells NBC News that in addition to Witkoff's meetings in Russia, the White House's special envoy to Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, will soon head to Kyiv. Their meeting as animosity between the Trump White House and the Kremlin reaches its most perilous high. Dmitry Medvedev, the number 2 to Putin on Russia's Security Council, warning Trump about his ceasefire ultimatum to not forget Russia's nuclear capabilities. The president responding,
"So I have sent to the region 2 nuclear submarines. I just want to make sure that his words are only words and nothing more than that."
The U.S. ambassador to NATO also making the case this weekend for the White House's negotiating efforts.
I think President Trump has been pretty clear that this war in Ukraine is not going to be settled on the battlefield. Ultimately, it's got to be negotiated, and there needs to be peace.
As envoy, Witkoff has been President Trump's point person for conflicts in both Ukraine and in Gaza. His upcoming trip to Russia comes after a 3-day stop in the Middle East, visiting with hostage families and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. And Friday, he stopped in Gaza, a rare visit by a high-level U.S. official, to see firsthand the humanitarian crisis on the ground.
Vaughn Hilliard is traveling with the president in New Jersey and joins us now. Vaughn, the president's now threatening the Kremlin if they do not meet his timeline for a ceasefire, right?
Hallie, he is saying the U.S. will add new sanctions and tariffs if a deadline is not met of Friday. Though to note, the president has given Russia a deadline before, and it passed with no clear consequence. Hallie?
Vaughn, thank you. New tariffs from the president's trade war going into effect this week on countries like Canada and Brazil. And tonight, some small businesses and their customers are bracing for higher prices. Here's Dana Griffin.
Bracing for trade war impacts as new tariffs set to go into effect Thursday.
This is truly the dawn of the golden age of America.
President Trump's new import taxes now include Canada's 35% tariff and 50% on Brazil, which produces nearly 40% of the world's coffee. White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett on Meet the Press discussing countries that have not yet inked a deal.
They're going to get the reciprocal rates, soon, and then we would expect that there might continue to be negotiations with those countries.
Bird Rock Coffee Roasters in San Diego relies heavily on beans from Brazil. They're working on a game plan, either pass the cost on to consumers or find beans from a different country.
Other countries are more expensive, don't offer the same flavor profile, and they also have tariffs of 10 to 25%.
So are you kind of screwed here?
Pretty much.
Can I get 3 pounds of ground?
When tariffs were first announced, coffee drinkers started panic buying across the country.
Is that going to be a big impact for you?
You add that and you add $1 on everything else that you buy that's $3 or $4, it's going to add up.
Some experts say school supplies are already priced and on shelves, but impacts will likely be felt months from now.
Prices are high and they're going to continue to be high, and then they're going to go up a little higher as well if we don't kind of settle these trade issues that we're having around the world.
This coming amid new data flashing potential warning signs for the U.S. economy. The president firing the labor statistics head hours after the release of a weak jobs report. Trump, without evidence, called the data rigged.
I believe the numbers were phony, just like they were before the election.
Americans now hoping for a tariff Hail Mary to avoid those impacts. Dana Griffin, NBC News.
Health officials in Louisiana now say 4 people have died and more than a dozen others have been hospitalized because of a dangerous strain of bacteria called Vibrio found in warm salt water. The infection caused by the bacteria can cause a range of symptoms, including fever, chills, and skin lesions. It's coming not long after Florida reported their own cases, all at the height of beach season. To Rome now, where Pope Leo celebrated Mass at his biggest event so far. Claudio Lavanga is on the ground for us at the Vatican. Claudio, good evening.
Hey, Holly. Well, today the Vatican said there were over 1 million young people at that Mass this morning. Now, this was really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for those kids, so for most of those kids, to meet other young Catholics from around the world. And the Pope told them to not be lethargic, to aspire to great things and to settle to nothing less. He also told them that there is another world possible where conflicts can be resolved through dialogue and not violence. And while at first glance Pope Leo may look a little more soft-spoken and more shy than his predecessor, Pope Francis, well, given the warm welcome he was given by all those young people this morning, well, it appears that he quietly won them over, Holly.
Claudio Lavanga at the Vatican, thank you. Still ahead for us tonight, the new back-to-school warning for kids and their parents with a contagious infection now making a comeback. And the huge great white shark spotted near a popular California beach. Look at that. That's next. Back now with an unusual great white shark sighting off the coast of California. You see it there, this massive 15-foot shark swimming just feet away from the popular Santa Monica Pier. That Santa Monica Bay tends to have younger great whites, but not fully grown ones like this one. Thankfully, the shark did not bother anyone, and no one bothered the shark. Also tonight, a new warning about whooping cough cases now on the rise, right as kids get ready to head back to school, with new numbers showing more kindergartners than ever are opting out of vaccinations. Maya Eaglin has more.
Cases of whooping cough spreading across the U.S., especially the Carolinas. And it's coming at a concerning time as millions of kids head back to classrooms.
It can be a very severe disease.
It's technically called pertussis, and it's a bacterial infection causing severe coughing.
My hospital, we had no cases in 2023, 13 in 2024. And already this year, and we're only halfway through the year, we've had 27.
More than 6 times as many whooping cough cases were reported last year compared to 2023, according to the Centers for Disease Control.
How contagious is whooping cough and how dangerous is it?
So first of all, it is quite contagious in very young children. As many as 2/3 will have periods where they stop breathing. About 20% of children who are young will get pneumonia.
The rise in cases comes as new data from the CDC show a record number of children did not receive their recommended vaccinations last school year, with 4.1% of kindergartners opting out of the shots. Most of those vaccine exemptions were given to families citing religious or personal reasons. With both kids and adults at risk, doctors say there are ways you can reduce you and your family's chances of getting sick.
We've been using these vaccines like pertussis for many, many decades. It usually takes about 1 to 3 weeks after you've received any vaccine to get the maximum benefits. So you don't want to wait till the day before school to get your children immunized.
Important reminders for all of us. Maya Eaglin, NBC News.
We are back in a moment with an NBC News exclusive. Our team getting an inside look as the Army tests new drones on the battlefield, preparing for the future of war to look like this. We're back with an NBC News exclusive. With the war in Ukraine stretching on, drones have become a critical weapon on both sides. Now, the U.S. Army is testing its own drones on the front lines. Our Courtney Kuby made her way to Poland for an inside look.
This may look like normal Army training, but today they're focused on a scary new threat, small drones that have transformed combat.
You're having $200 drones that are in the sky at all times, and now we have to find a way to defeat them.
That's the goal of Project Flytrap, U.S. soldiers training in the dense forest in Poland, just miles from the border with Russia. Taking lessons from the battlefield in neighboring Ukraine, where rapid advances in small drone warfare have helped Ukraine hold off the massive Russian military.
They can travel at 80 miles an hour, and by the time you see a drone, it might be too late.
And moving over any terrain.
There's never going to be a way where you can move without being unseen.
Taking away the soldier's element of surprise.
You have to treat everything as if you're under observation all the time.
The Army testing new radars mounted on vehicles that detect a drone and then shoot it down. Also a new tactic under development, turning every soldier into a jammer. It's called Pitbull. It looks like a radio, but when a drone is nearby, a soldier literally points his body at the drone, and Pitbull breaks the link back to an operator, stopping it in its tracks.
Basically, every soldier in your platoon right now is able to counter a drone.
Yes, ma'am. So every soldier has that ability on the ground with them.
But there are downsides. Jamming can disrupt the U.S. Army's own systems, too. And some enemy drones don't use radio signals. Instead, they're attached to fiber optic cables directing them, so they can't be jammed. And U.S. soldiers now making their own with 3D printers. Drones like this cost as little as $250, and this unit alone can produce 50 every day, each built with a specific mission in mind: surveillance, one-way attack, or even delivering blood or supplies to the front lines.
We're just starting the drone game, but I think in the next year, we're in the age of robotics. That's something the U.S. military is going to try and be an expert on.
Training on tactics as old as the Army itself with a new and deadly twist. Courtney Kuby, NBC News, Poland.
When we come back, there is good news tonight about a mother's love and a nurse's sisterhood.
Like tomorrow. Yeah.
There is good news tonight about incredible timing and a once-in-a-lifetime bond that turned 8 co-workers into a kind of family of their own. At Lehigh Valley Hospital in Pennsylvania, these nurses aren't just saving lives, they're starting the next chapter of theirs.
Who is not getting any sleep right now?
8 women, all working in the same hospital, pregnant within just a few months of each other.
I told Molly I was pregnant, and then she's like, me too. And I was like, wait, what? Katie was like right after, and Brittany, I was like, oh my gosh.
People are like, wow, I see a lot of pregnant women around here.
Oh, yeah. So many patients were like, what's in the water here?
Their squad called Prego Floats, a nod to their jobs as float nurses who float between hospital departments. It's even the name of their group chat.
We text almost every single day, whether it's something funny or just advice questions.
That support especially meaningful for Brittany Cebulski, whose path to motherhood wasn't easy.
I went through 3 years of infertility, so I have been getting shots at work for a very long time. So between all of them, Jenna, Molly, they have both given me multiple shots throughout the years.
What was it like to find out that you finally were pregnant right around the same time as some of these women who'd been supporting you for all those years?
Oh my God, it was incredible.
The first-time moms getting invaluable advice from the veterans.
Definitely, all the support has been amazing.
And through those long hospital shifts and uncertainties of pregnancy, they had each other's backs.
I mean, obviously, having a child and the overwhelming emotional joy and all the emotions that come with this is one thing, but to know that there's these group of girls that are there to support you, whatever emotion you're going through.
And now they plan to continue the journey of motherhood the same way they started it, together.
It's going to be amazing to watch them grow up together and know each other. And they were together on this journey with us from literally start to finish.
Who doesn't love 6 babies on a Zoom? Congratulations to all of them on their next chapter. That is Nightly News for this Sunday. Tom will be back tomorrow. I'm Hallie Jackson. For all of us here at NBC, thanks for watching and have a great week.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.